And welcome back to Game Escape, here today with a review of Aquapazza for the PlayStation 3, a 2D fighting game released just yesterday on November 19th, 2013. And this is kind of a strange one. It is a game that is actually a collaboration between two anime producers, groups called Aquaplus and Leaf, both of which produce, I guess, an adult type of anime. And I saw this because I figured, wow, here's a game that's being released right between the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One. Why are they doing this? Why is Atlus, produced by Atlus, why is Atlus coming out with this game now? And I just, out of curiosity, picked it up. The visuals look to me like a game that I played a number of years ago called Melty Blood Actress Again for the PlayStation 2. And I really enjoyed that game, although this one is probably more akin to the Arcana Hearts series, and it looks like it is derived from that sort of Guilty Gear BlazBlue lineage, but interestingly, plays a lot like a classic Capcom fighter, and for that reason I'm actually quite enjoying it. It actually has three control systems. You have an assist system. Basically what happens, this is as I understand it, you pick a character from one of these two series. I don't know which one is which. I have no idea. I've never heard of these anime before, but you pick a character from one series, and then you're assisted by a character from another. And you basically sort of tag them in briefly. It's kind of like a Marvel vs. Capcom, where you sort of tag the character in, they do an attack, or in some cases do something that has a status effect on your opponent, and then shoot back out. You can't actually play as both characters. The battle system here is fairly simple and very, very reminiscent, like I said, of classic Capcom games, particularly Street Fighter 2. You have a lot of half-circle, quarter-circle movements, but this game forces you to put a constant focus on attack. When you are consistently attacking, you achieve a state of high emotion, and in this state, your attacks will actually deal out 10% more damage. If you focus on defensive play and blocking, the reverse is true, you'll actually take more damage. So it's an interesting twist on that system. Additionally, you build power levels as you fight, and basically you can gain, I think, up to 5 levels, and you can expend them on special moves, which will cost you 1 power level, or super moves, which will cost 3 or more, and the super moves are those kind of like Street Fighter hyper combo things. They're actually quite gorgeous to look at. The movesets themselves are actually very similar for each fighter, so it's not like you're going to have to learn a variety of different types of movesets, like, again, a lot of quarter circle, half circle movements, but the fun rests in seeing the moves and kind of combining them rather than learning different movesets. You want to ultimately build combos out of these three systems. You want to connect your assists to your specials and your supers, and the result is you can actually get essentially a long juggle of your opponent in the air if you do that, and they're particularly devastating. So this is not an overly complicated system, but it is logically arranged, and it's actually pretty fun. I think the key to this game, though, are the visuals, the standout visuals here. This is one of the most gorgeous 2D fighters I have ever played. The backgrounds are just bursting with color and detail, and they're certainly on par with King of Fighters 13, which I thought was one of the best hand-drawn 2D fighters that I've seen. This is really right up there, and I almost want to say kind of surpasses it. Every level is just gorgeous to look at. Now, I think one of another way in which this game succeeds is that even though you may have no idea who these characters are, and really who does in the United States, unless you're, I think, a diehard anime fan, and, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe this Aquaplus anime and the Leaf anime are popular. I mean, I don't really follow anime, but I have really never heard of these companies. To me, it doesn't ring forth in the way that, say, Gundam does or something like that. But anyway, you may not know who the characters are, but they each kind of feel a little bit different and are fun to experiment with, which is, I think, necessary for bringing people like me into the game who have no knowledge of the series. Now, again, you're going to be doing the same movements on your joystick or on your controller, but it's just kind of fun to experience their different effects. There is online play, and so I was able to, on release day, get online, have a couple of matches. People are playing, but of course, the community here will likely be far smaller than something like BlazBlue or Persona 4 Arena, Street Fighter 4, particularly at this stage in the game for the PS3. I will say that at the $30 price point, I can highly recommend this game if you're looking for a competent, if a little bit offbeat, fighting game. And I think probably this has a chance to be an uncommon game. I'm not going to say a rare game, but I think it'll be fairly uncommon, as I think it's getting lost in the shuffle here between the two big console releases, and I'd be surprised if it gets a second printing. But the visuals alone, I think, steal the show, and if you love gorgeous 2D artwork, I think you will really appreciate this game. And if you're sort of an old fan of that Capcom style, I think it'll be fun to play. It won't absorb you for a lifetime like some of the great fighting games out there, like Street Fighter 2, but it will certainly be a fun and pleasant diversion, and at $30, what more can you expect? And it just brings up the interesting point now. I think PlayStation 3 has, in my opinion, depends on how you define this, but I think in my opinion now it's moved into the retro category, and it's in that strange space where it's still on the market, people are still developing for it, but it's slowly fading away, and I think that's the most interesting time to collect for a system, because that's when you get the rare games. I think this is one of those games that has the potential to be one of those overlooked gems, and I can only hope that now in the twilight of the PlayStation 3 we get some of these oddball Japanese type games. In this case, this is really beautifully conceived and just a ton of fun to play. So I thank you for watching Game Escape, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.